Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about this week's TV news. Amongst a few other things, we also use this weekly video to sort of give updates on stuff that's coming up in the channel, anything that's popped up in the past week, that kind of thing. At the end of the video, we also pick our favourite episode of TV of the week. So that's what's happening in this probably longer episode of our news, based on how many pages of notes I have.
It's never long already, is it?
More pages than last week.
Did we go a while last week?
I can't remember. I can't remember. There
It was a while ago.
There was a longish week recently, and it's
Yeah,
more
I'm
than
just
that.
looking.
That's what I know for a fact.
Last week's wasn't too bad. We were just under an hour.
All right, it'll be longer. It'll definitely be longer this week.
Yeah, I'd expect it.
We have meaty things to discuss. We have an entire reboot section.
It was only a matter of time.
We usually get one reboot thing, and this week we've got like 4 or something like that. I don't know. We'll find out when we get there. I can't remember, but we got a lot of things to talk about. Before we get to the news, though, in terms of updates, things that popped up, new shows in the last week, and that kind of thing. So Star Trek started.
Yeah, it did.
First 2 episodes of that. So we reviewed that. You can go and find that. So that was a thing. Now that's the only thing that started since last week, but we have a lot of things starting this coming week. Quite a number of things, in fact. We have The Gifted starting on Monday, which is the new X-Men show on Fox. Technically it'll be after the next news, but Superstition starting the following Friday. That's next Friday. That's starting on Sci-Fi.
Aye.
So that's a thing that's happening. Yeah. So yeah, lots of things. Oh, and The Exorcist is starting this week.
Yes.
I almost forgot
course.
that one, which is probably more notable than the other two. But yeah, Exorcist is starting back.
And Inhumans.
Oh, how could I forget?
Yes. I try, but it haunts me.
Yeah. We are going to do the double pilot for Inhumans. That will come on Sunday. Normally we act quicker on new shows that pop up, but we're a bit tight for time at this point. Honestly, Friday night is like a really bad night for them to be putting on shows for our schedule. And it's Inhumans, so we're kind of okay to leave it till Sunday.
Well, yeah, it was Inhumans or Exorcist. Which do we want to do first? There was an easy choice.
The choice was made. Was made. There's also a bunch of sitcoms starting over the next week, which we may try some of, we may not. It depends if we've got time. Given how tight we've been recently, probably not is the answer. But just in case, so those might pop in or out depending. But yeah, so that's what's just came out. What's coming up? Obviously, we'll get more Star Trek, The Deuce, Channel Zero, all that stuff coming in next week, as we've been covering. And Room 104. And yes, Room 104, last week's, has still not been reviewed. It is coming. We, obviously, Connor was away last weekend. We did not be able to do it the weekend. As a result, we've not had time to fit it in. And so it'll either be just before the new episode, or it'll be a double review with both episodes in one video at this point. Because we're very nearly the new one, so...
yeah, it turns out missing one weekend really screws up the whole week.
It does. It really does. So that's what's happening. We haven't forgotten about it though. Is my main point. So anyway, I guess that wraps up all that stuff, and we can get into the actual news. The news.
Cool. What we got?
There's some very good news to start us off with. Just sweet and quick, nice and just straight into the point and fantastic.
I'm a little concerned that you're building this up so much that this is going to be awful news.
It's great news for me. I mean,
oh God,
anyone else can step in and complain if they want, but I am ecstatic that The Mist has been cancelled after one season at Spike.
No, I did see that, and I did not have the misfortune of having to watch that. I think I might have actually been away that weekend as well.
Yeah, you squirmed out of it like a little weasel.
Yeah, I think I was away that weekend or something. So Tim had to fill in.
Yeah, he's still not forgiven you for that, by the way.
That. No, I'm sure he hasn't. Everything I heard was this is like one of the worst things all year.
He's still not forgiven you. He's holding a grudge. He's got a little ginger voodoo doll in his closet that he pokes
that explains some things.
So that's the thing that's happened. It just didn't do very well. There wasn't much of a reason beyond the ratings were very poor. So
what a shame.
Here we are. Young Sheldon has already been picked up for a full season after one episode aired.
Yeah, apparently. Well, I mean, I'm not surprised.
Do you want to know how much viewers it got?
No, a lot, too many.
I'm going to tell you anyway because it's more. It's like multiples of what the shows we watch get typically. 17.21 million viewers for Young Sheldon.
I know this came, I think, after the first episode of whatever season Big Bang Theory is on. Did this give you the numbers of Big Bang Theory to compare it to see how much it lost for over the ad break?
If it did, I did not notice them or pay attention.
God, you shared this.
I saw 17.21 and I thought, oh my, that's a huge number.
It is, unless the actual episode did like 28 million of Big Bang Theory, and then it's like,
no,
well, that's quite a lot.
It gets absurdly high numbers, but it's not that absurdly high.
No, I know.
I'm sure of it. I'm sure it was a.
Do you know what I kind of hope is? So the next episode isn't till November for some reason. Like clearly they wanted to put the first one on with the first episode of Big Bang Theory, cross promote it because it makes sense. But it's not on now for another month. I hope people just kind of forget about it.
You can hope. I can hope, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I think.
Just let me hope.
Unfortunately, the origin of the word Bazinga will be such a big talking point for the populace that they're going to tune in to find out where did it come from.
Probably are.
Was it something that his drunk father said to him before he vanished out of his life, or whatever? I don't know what the backstory for Sheldon is, but
I'm pretty sure his dad died.
Maybe he said it in his deathbed. He was trying to say something else, but he sort of faded off, and it sounded like Bazinga. So Sheldon's
I'm still surprised. I remember when this was announced, and we were convinced Bazinga was going to be the name of the show.
Oh yeah, I'm shocked. I am absolutely shocked.
I mean, I guess I shouldn't be so surprised. They went with the really just obvious boring choice because, of course, they did. Tells you exactly what it is on the tin.
So boring, though. Young Sheldon. It's a shit title.
At least Bazinga would be like, okay, that means something. I don't like it, but at least it has a meaning.
All right, let's swiftly move on to more interesting things. So, we got the announcement of the DC CW crossover for this year. We already knew it was going to take place over 2 nights. Arrow's going to move for the 1 week that it's on.
Before you get into this story,
okay,
I just want to say, this has been a long week and there has been so much news. And I'm only just realising this now because I thought this was last week's news.
Well, there you go. Brace yourself. So... Yeah. The 4-part crossover, but the 2-night crossover is going to be Crisis on Earth X. And Earth X is notable in the DC universe because it is a universe where the Nazis won World War II, a longer version of World War II, and all the heroes that we have are all evil villain versions over there. I feel like maybe on this they might just change it to Fascists Won a War rather than specifically going with the exact group.
Yeah, maybe.
I can see it being that way. But they interrupt Barry and Irish's wedding, which they've said is the plot of this crossover. So, Barry and Iris are getting married. Well, at least they're going to try and get married. They might not succeed in the actual wedding, admittedly, but...
Yeah, I guess my one downside is, alright, I guess Barry's back already.
True, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be back by episode 2.
Yeah, I know, but...
So it's
even though I never really expected it, I had hopes anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose maybe the... I doubt this is going to happen, but in the off chance that they do keep him gone for a while, he could be gone for 6 episodes, he comes back and says, right, Iris, let's get married. I've been in the... time moved differently in the Speed Force, I've been in there for centuries. Let's get married. Yeah. I've waited too long. But I don't know. I think it's a fun idea for a crossover. I like the idea that all the characters come together for something other than the villain.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool.
They come together for an actual social event, a social occasion, and then the villains show up. And
we got some new characters as well popping in.
We do, yeah. I didn't actually note these down. Remind me who we had.
Off the top of my head, I only remember one specifically, but I know that it was cast as well. That they've cast the Ray. The
Ray, yeah, that was Ray. They cast the Ray.
We've got Russell Tovey.
Yes.
Who I'm a fan of.
I'm unfamiliar with his work.
Oh, okay.
Unless you can name something that...
did you ever watch Being Human?
No.
Okay, he was in that. He was also in one of the Christmas episodes of Doctor Who.
Okay.
Guy with the big ears. Trust me, when you see him, you'll go, yeah, okay, I know who you're on about.
That's not jogging my memory, but yeah, maybe when I see these big ears, I'll click into place. So we get the Ray, who's introduced purely for this crossover as well. This is where his origin is going to be, I say origin, but his first appearance in the shows. So he could be a recurring character who pops up again later. And there's a nice bit of art because they like to do this thing where they do like a homage piece of artwork that looks like an old comic book cover.
Yeah,
And they got, I think it was Jorge Jimenez who did it. Or
yeah,
maybe,
that sounds right.
either him or Phil Jimenez, but it was definitely Jimenez, and I can't remember what the first name was now, and it's bugging me.
I just remember him as well.
Yeah,
I
that's
saw
annoying.
that, and then you said that one. Then I was like, yeah, okay, that sounds about right.
Yeah. But anyway, it's really nice. It has like this roll call of all, it's the classic comic cover with all the heads for all the characters, roll call, and then you've got this over the top image in the middle. It's good stuff.
It's nice.
So yeah, and sticking with the DC shows, actually, we do have another bit of news. Supergirl specifically, we got a bit of casting for that because we have the character of Saturn Girl coming to the show. She's going to be played by Amy Jackson. Amy Jackson, this is her first role in the US. She's a Bollywood actress.
Okay, cool.
Which is probably why a lot of us probably haven't heard of her if you're not into Bollywood.
Yeah, I was gonna go who, but then I was like, I don't care. We're getting Saturn Girl.
So Saturn Girl, who of course is one of the Legion of Superheroes, which I know excites Connor.
Finally, I've been waiting so long since that tease.
They've given me a little description here. Saturn Girl, aka Imra, is that right? Am I saying that right? Imra Ardeen is a kind, strong-willed hero who uses her telekinetic powers to help those in need. She was born in Titan, one of the moons of Saturn, and arrives on Earth just in time to help Supergirl face one of her biggest threats. So it sounds like she's going to be a recurring ally who's going to show up this season.
Mm.
Maybe
no
she'll
mention
have
of the Legion though.
no mention of the Legion. Maybe it'll lead to Legion. She'll tease it, but we won't get it until maybe season 4.
God damn it! I just want it already.
Maybe she's the first of many. Maybe we'll see her first, and then the rest will all follow later in the season. So we've not cast them yet. So there's been no reason for them to announce them. That could just be it.
Could be.
Could just be it. Cool news though. Cool news.
It is.
So, next up, okay, this is just a little fun story I wanted to put in here because it amused me. Especially since Netflix just started a TV show where it's like it's the American Vandals, the crime show where it's about who drew the dicks on the cars, like who vandalised the cars with the dicks.
Mm.
This week, Netflix had to pull down an episode of a children's TV show. It's like a puppet show with like miniature backgrounds and stuff. Someone had drew a dick on one of the backgrounds.
I saw this. Very amusing.
Yeah, Maya the Bee is the name of the show, and it's just a kids' TV show. It's got several seasons. There's like 70+ episodes up on Netflix, but some mother noticed the dick and contacted Netflix, and Netflix made with haste and took it down. And
honestly, it's one of those things that you can get away with generally speaking, you can get away with just leaving in because the kids aren't going to notice it.
No, that's true. To be fair, I should probably correct what I just said. She didn't contact Netflix, she put it on social media, so it became public knowledge.
Right.
At which point, I don't think they can leave it in because now everyone's knowing about it.
Yeah.
So they've taken it down. I think they're redoing that one shot or whatever to fix it and put it back up. But apparently, this is my favourite part of this though. Studio 100 that makes the show. Studio 100 is looking for the culprit among the artists in France and Asia who worked on the series. I just like that. I like that they're looking for him. Who drew the dicks? Hashtag. That's what they were doing for the American Vandal. But no. Now we've got a new proper reason. There's an actual culprit out there somewhere who drew a dick. And Maya the Bee. We have to find him.
I'm not gonna lie, this is far more entertaining than American Vandal.
Don't say that. You'll get us into trouble. Lots of people like that show.
I know.
We've had a lot of shit.
The bear.
We've had a lot of shit for not liking that show. A lot of people have disagreed with us. We're in the minority. And do you know what? Sometimes that's going to happen, but we didn't like that show as much as everyone else seems to. So hey ho.
Some commenters got pretty severe.
They just call Ginger full. I mean, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. Alright, let's move on. So we're actually into the new shows already. So we didn't actually have a lot before we got to the new shows, which should just tell you we have a lot of new shows. Given how much I'm hyping how long this news list is.
I'm concerned at just how, because the thing is, I've seen a good handful of new shows this week, and usually you come out with a list of things I've not seen at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just wondering, just how big is this list going to be?
Well, we're only just at the start of my second page of news, by the way.
How many pages was there?
I didn't tell you.
I know, I was trying to get an answer.
Alright, first up, so as always we start with the comedies. I just like to do that, get all the sort of simpler things out of the way before we get to the meaty dramas. So Fox have put in a pilot, they've got a pilot commitment for an untitled single camera comedy, coming from Lee Daniels, who is behind Empire, so it's someone who obviously Fox have had success with. The project is based on an Israeli format called Nevzu, a young multicultural couple. It revolves around three typical Minnesotan families. This would be the American version, not the Israeli thing it's based on, just to be clear. A household of African refugees, a household of outdoorsy Midwesterners, and a young interracial couple testing the idea that we are all more alike than we are different. So we've talked about this a lot in the last few weeks, how there's a lot of sort of comedies that are focusing on racial and relations and things like that, and multiracial couples, multiracial families. There's been a big theme this season with all these shows.
The idea, did you say that one? There was refugees.
Yeah, the first family was refugees.
That's another big theme that we've noticed this year.
So, yeah, sure, some of them are more fantastical, like that one where it's the refugees from the future. But
do you know what? I think that one has potentially one of the better chances of succeeding as well, because that one's going to be the one out first out of all of these.
Oh, it is, because that's this mid-season that's coming, yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas this won't be till obviously after next summer, but it sounds fine for a comedy. I really like. I like that comedies are trying to tackle some more. It's kind of, and Joe would convince me they can do it, and I won't be groaning at how inappropriate the humour is. It was actually Speechless, which I've still only watched the pilot of, but Speechless last year convinced me that they can actually do this and it can work.
Yeah, it doesn't mean everyone can do it.
Oh sure, yeah, some of these might be.
But it was proof of concept that it can be done.
Yeah, which obviously that wasn't dealing with race, that was dealing with disabilities, and you have a main character who's disabled, and we went into that thinking, oh, this could be really poor taste, this could be this could be that, but that proved that you can do this with tact and still be extremely funny and be poignant about what you're doing. So you can be funny with a point, and
I've watched that season. It holds up and gets better.
Oh, good. Whereas I watched Trial and Error, which I also really liked. I'll have to watch Speechless at some point.
And I still have to watch Trial and Error.
Once I get through my rewatch of Third Rock from the Sun, which is because of Trial and Error, because it made me want more John Lithgow.
Understandable.
I'm on season 4 for the record, so I'm going through at a reasonable pace. But, yeah. So no title for that. By the way, there's a lot of comedies this week with no titles. It's actually annoying. There's nothing to refer to them as. It's really irksome. In fact, probably the most guilty actually is this next little pair, because this is still with Fox. They've put in pilot commitments to a single camera comedy. Oh, sorry, not this one. Sorry, this is later on. I'm thinking of. I don't know what I just said, but no, Fox have put in a single pilot camera comedy pilot commitment from Modern Family producer Danny Zucker. It's untitled, because of course it is. The premise will get attention because it's... Well, see, I read this article and they're saying, oh, it's going to get attention, it's going to be controversial, like, in 2 parts of the planet, and I'm like, it's not that controversial, like... It's just this feels like a silly concept for comedy. Alright, so divorce is hard, sharing custody is harder, sharing custody with the British royal family when your wife marries a prince in the unforgiving spotlight of London's tabloid media is next level. And this all comes from the fact that one of the producers, Trevor Engelson, actually is the ex-husband of actress Meghan Markle, who is dating Prince Harry. Now, it's not based on that true experience, and that, like, the characters aren't based on them. Also, they didn't have kids, so there's no...
But it's just more like the idea came from that.
The idea came from that. It's completely fictional, and they wanted to make that point, and I think that's a legal thing. They're saying that for legal reasons. This has got nothing to do with those actual people.
Yeah.
We're making that clear.
In his mind, he's gone, what if? Oh, that's a great comedy, let's do it.
Honestly, I think this might be a little too high concept for a comedy for me. This is a little too absurd.
It might. See, it can go either way. It'll either be, no, this is too much, I don't care, or it'll be just the right amount of ridiculous that I'll love it. Maybe.
I'm under the, like, if I've got like a meter, right, middle's just middle. I'm probably it's just slightly negative on this. I'm expecting something I won't like.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I'm kind of like neutral, but with I'm hopeful, but I don't really expect it to be great.
Sticking with Fox, we have a comedy being produced by Rob McElhenney of It's Always Sunny fame, and Rob Rosell. He's also working on this. Pilot commitment for Fox. By the way, I'm noticing this. A lot of the pilots this season have commitments. That seems to be the new thing. They can't just order a pilot now with the option of getting rid of it. They have to. They're all committing to them. But it's untitled, and it gives me probably the shortest description we have in the entire show. The Untitled project would follow an unconventional family in working class America. Full stop.
Sounds like a sitcom.
Sounds like a sitcom with not a lot to say about it.
It sounds like about 50 other sitcoms that already exist.
Yeah, we have one name that maybe gives it some credence, but then again, he's just producing it, so
yeah,
it doesn't really necessarily mean much. But hey, alright, so going over to ABC, they've got a comedy they've put in
just one.
Just one from ABC. But it's called Valley Girls. They've got a title, so they immediately get a bonus point from me. Like, I'm instantly carried more.
They're already ahead of Fox.
Yeah. It's based on Heather Chabo, I'll say that name is, and Samantha Walravens. Oh, Walraven's a good name. I like that name. That sounds like something you could, like, I'm of the Walraven clan. Like,
so it sounds like a good name.
They recently published a non-fiction book called Geek Girl Rising, Inside the Sisterhood Shaking Up Tech. So it's loosely based on this book. Valley Girls is inspired in part by the stories of the highly successful women changing the tech industry, as recounted in the book Geek Girl Rising. It is a fictional cross-generational show about 4 women in Silicon Valley fighting to succeed in a male-dominated industry.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is female Silicon Valley.
I've never seen Silicon Valley to actually make that statement, but potentially.
Just based on what I know, I've never seen it either. Yeah. But just based on what I know, that's kind of what this sounds like. Which isn't a bad thing, because people like that show.
Oh yeah, like, I think like, this could have a completely different tone, like, because at least, I'm just assuming because TJ Miller's in Silicon Valley, that it's a very cynical and kind of brash humour. Whereas this I can see being more of a sort of maybe traditional workplace sitcom with 4 women trying to, like, so it's fine. Yeah, it's a workplace comedy. It's fine. Yeah. Honestly, ABC is the perfect place for this. It feels like an ABC show to me.
No, I get you.
It just feels like their sort of thing, for better or worse, whether that appeals to you or not.
No, it sounds like it could be fun. Again, we say all the time with comedies. Good concept doesn't necessarily mean it'll be a great show.
And boring concept doesn't necessarily mean it won't be a good show either. Like, that could be great on it. Like, sure, it's just characters in a house, but if those characters are funny and they're well
exactly.
Written,
it's a different game to dramas where the concept actually matters. So,
moving over to NBC for their comedies. Yes, plural. Bear with me. NBC's put in development Too Close to Home. This is a multi-camera show. Which, NBC typically has been single camera these past few years, but they used to be very good at multi-camera shows. In fact, I just mentioned I'm rewatching Third Rock from the Sun, so they have a history of doing good stuff. This comes from Ellen DeGeneres and former Two Broke Girls creators, Michael Lisby and Nate Reger. So Ellen DeGeneres, that's cool. I don't necessarily love her work, but she's done some interesting stuff. Other 2 guys, Two Broke Girls, not feeling it as much. But Too Close to Home is a comedy about 2 sisters who come from very humble beginnings. One of them bettered her circumstances through education and hard work, which paid off in the form of a relatively good life. That good life is upended when her much lazier sister strikes it rich by winning the lottery and comes crashing into her world.
I feel like I've seen this about 40 times already.
Yeah.
Like this exact thing. Again, not to say it'll be bad, because if it's funny, then it's funny.
Well, even that show last year with Thingy for It's Always Sunny, the Mick. Even that sounds kind of similar to this.
Yeah.
Like, she's the family member who's, kind of lazy, doesn't have a lot of money, and then, she has to go and spend time with the rich family, and, obviously it's a little bit different, but I can feel the similar beats coming out of it.
Yeah.
I can feel it, the same thing.
Again, if this is funny, then cool.
Yeah.
But it sounds like I've seen this 1,000 times already.
Sticking with NBC, this was the pair that I was talking about earlier, where there's next to nothing for both of them.
Damn you, NBC.
So, but it comes from the creator of The Good Place, Mike Schur.
Okay.
So we've got a reasonable name here, but he's got 2 pilots in the works at NBC. One is a collaboration with fellow Good Place people Josh Siegel and Dylan Morgan, and it is a musical project. It's untitled. It is a half-hour comedy musical set in New York. That's all I've given us for it. But
okay,
I figured at least one of those words would be piquing your interest.
It is.
The second one is a collaboration with Josh Malmuth, who's behind Superstore, which I've never seen, so I can't really comment on. It's also untitled, but it centres around an unlicensed bar that a woman decides to run out of her backyard.
Okay, it's not a bad premise.
Yeah,
I'm definitely more excited for the first one just because of Mike Schur. I like his work.
Oh, he's involved in both.
I was involved in both.
Yeah, they're both his.
Oh, okay.
They're
I thought it was just the first one.
No, they're collaborations with the other people I mentioned, but
right. Okay, got you.
He's both.
Okay, still probably more excited for the first one just because it feels like it's got a bit more to go on.
Yeah. They're both pretty simple descriptions, though. So if they go anywhere, we can see what they turn into. Sticking with NBC for another comedy, NBC's put in development an untitled. NBC, name some of these, please.
I mean, to be fair, Fox were worse, or just as bad.
Just as bad, I think. I don't think it was worse. This comes from Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg. Also producing is Sugar Lynn Beard, who I'm mentioning specifically because she's also going to star in it. She's going to be the lead star of the show. Untitled, because of course it is. It centers on Dr. Olivia Boudreau, played by Beard, a hard-charging 35-year-old Doogie Howser-style prodigy. When she has a complete breakdown in the operating room and loses her medical license, she is forced to move in with her estranged hippie mother and her mum's 2 best friends, who team up to help her get her back on her feet while teaching her all the life lessons she missed by going to med school.
Oh, this sounds awful.
Basically, it boils down to middle-aged woman has to move back in with her weird mother and her friends, and they teach her to be a human being because she's weird.
Yeah, no, I don't want anything to do with this.
I'll say it. Like it could still be good if it's funny, but yeah, that's.
I mean, it could be. I'm willing to put that out there. That I may be wrong. Snap judgment though. I don't want it.
All right, the final comedy. This one's from CBS, so get excited. It comes from Big Bang Theory's Jim Reynolds. It's called Here Comes the Neighborhood. So I'll give CBS credit. They named their one comedy, so fair play to them. Here Comes the Neighborhood centers on the nicest guy in the Midwest who moves his family into a tough neighborhood in LA where not everyone appreciates his extreme neighborliness.
That was at the end of the description.
That's the end of the description. Yes.
Oh, I was expecting another sentence.
So he's a really friendly small town guy who moves to the city and annoys all his neighbours by being.
Oh, he'd annoy the shit out of me.
Yeah, of course it would.
I don't want friendly neighbours. Shut up. Go back into your house.
Honestly, it's a fine idea for a sitcom. I mean, I know it's CBS, so it'll probably suck, but there's nothing wrong with that.
No, that's fine. Did that specify multi-camera or single camera?
Multi-camera, yeah.
Okay.
But that's honestly, that premise sounds like it's fine for a multi-camera show, though.
It does, yeah.
Alright, so we're on to dramas.
Just before we go on to that,
can
you do a quick count? Who had more, Fox or NBC?
Oh, God. NBC had 1, 2, 3, 4... They had 4. Okay. Fox had 1, 2, 3. So NBC won. They had 4.
Congrats, NBC. Your award's in the mail.
So we kick off the dramas with the reboot roulette.
Reboot roulette. I like the idea that you're going to pick these at random, even though I know you've got them ordered and you're going to do the exact order that are there. What you need is a random number generator and go 1 to however many, and then.
Look,
and then do
I just wanted an alliterated title for the section. Okay, that's all. Roulette was the first word that came to mind.
Look, but you made me want this section to be so much more than it's going to be.
Okay, roulette. You think of something as well? You can join in.
It's your job.
Roulette.
Why are you focusing on the roulette? Isn't it the reboot that you want to
say? So you're right, yeah. Reboot. That's maybe why I'm having some trouble. Reboot. I can't even call it a reconnaissance because it's not a reconnaissance. We've been having reboots up the ass for the last several years. Reboot. It's Reboot Roulette, alright? Just shut up and take it. It's Reboot Roulette. You don't know what the order is anyways, doesn't matter. Okay, first up, Fox has given a script commitment plus penalty to The Nice Girls.
Is that what it's actually called?
It's called The Nice Girls, yeah. This article had the title, The Nice Girls, which is a female spin on The Nice Guys, which only came out last year. So that's is how quick we're pulling these out for TV shows now. So yeah, it was the Ryan Gosling, Russell Crowe, Shane Black movie that came out last year.
Which was goddamn excellent.
Oh, it was excellent. It was fantastic. It was a great buddy cop action comedy. Shane Black,
which is exactly why it's on Fox, because it's buddy cop.
It is, but it's going to be ladies, hence the title, The Nice Girls. The only other thing it mentions, honestly, is that it's going to be a contemporary take on it. So
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, honestly, it makes sense. It saves a lot of money by just setting it in present day.
It's somewhat disappointing because a large part of that movie was the aesthetic, but it was never going to happen on Fox, was it?
When I first heard about this, though, I was kind of hoping it was the daughter grown up because she was like the best character in that movie.
She was, she did steal it.
She did. She stole it. She was in a movie with Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe, and she stole it.
Yeah,
that's how good she was. And I was kind of hoping it was going to be her growing up, which would maybe put it into the 90s. But obviously, I'm not saying we can't have someone that will be the main character, but I feel like they're going to want some...
They skew young because this is network TV.
It's network TV, so they want these young and sexy buddy cop show, don't they? Which is... It's actually kind of sad, this is the twist. It's a buddy cop show, but they got boobs.
Yeah, no,
that's the twist. That's the twist here.
That's what we've come down to. We've done robots. We've done headless horsemen. Now they've got boobs.
Yeah, because it's basically
that's where we've landed. Because
it's usually one's a person and the other one's a robot or from the past or is whatever. Whereas this is basically like, what if both of them were women? Well, that's basically what the pitch for this was.
That's what we've boiled down to.
The little inklings of like possibility that this might actually be worth watching is that it was actually originally pitched as a TV show. The original idea was for a TV show, so the original concept at least was designed for TV in mind.
Yeah.
Shane Black is on the producing team, so he's not completely detached from it. And I think the last thing maybe that's all I've got.
I mean, I'd say at its core, the movie is just a very good, basic buddy cop movie. It's funny.
Oh, sure,
but it doesn't do anything, extravagant with the idea of...
That's what it needs to be, though, right? It needs to be funny. That's what it needs to keep for it to be good.
Yeah, it needs to keep that tone of being funny. But like I say, it's just buddy cop. There's no reason that shouldn't work on TV. I mean, I've seen it hundreds of times, and it can work very well.
Honestly, my only worry is that because they're going... it could still sit with male characters, but because they're going with female characters, I just have a worry that when they try and translate the humour, they're going to then turn it into all these really obvious jokes. Like, it'll all be lady jokes, if that makes any sense, rather than just making it the jokes that they would have had anyway. They're going to...
Yeah, because the jokes weren't specific to anything before, were they?
No, it was just... No, one of them is completely useless. And if they go that route, like, one of them is just useless and is shit at their job, that should be funny.
Do you know what I honestly think will be the biggest, hurdle for this show to overcome?
Mm-hmm.
The fact that it is so soon to the movie, and it was, a well-loved movie, so it's going to get out from those It wants to bank on the name, but it's still got to get away from the comparisons enough to be good.
Yeah,
it's going to be tough.
That's fair. I do. Yeah, I still kind of hope that the daughter grown up's a character in this somehow. Maybe she's the police captain or something. I don't know. Because she'd be about that age. She'd be a viable age to be like the captain.
Yeah.
Because she was already, like an early teenager in the 70s, so she'd be like...
Yeah, 10, 12 maybe.
Yeah, so she'd be upper middle age by this point. But anyway, so... potential. There's no reason why that can't work as a TV show. I worry that Shane Black not being the one who actually writing and directing it, and then you take out the cast who are excellent, especially the teenage daughter. I worry at that point that you're...
Yeah, because you've got to recreate that sort of chemistry that all three of them had.
Yeah, that's what made that movie fantastic. It was those three actors and the director making that work, and without those people, it's like, well, it's just a name, really.
Right, because like I said, at its core, if you just look at it, it's just a buddy cop movie. Which, how many of those have there been?
Yeah,
I mean, you can't even count, probably.
That's it. Not as many as there used to be. This is kind of a
no, it does not.
It's a quiet genre now.
Except on Fox.
Well, no, we're talking about movies. TV shows
Yeah.
are different. Fox are really trying to make it work on TV. So, next up on Reboot Roulette.
I don't know which one you're going with.
This is one I don't think you even know about.
Oh, I might not. I might not have seen all of them.
So, Media Res and Ron Studios have acquired the rights to David Cronenberg's classic 1981 sci-fi thriller, Scanners.
I had not heard about this one.
Oh, yes. To develop it as a TV show. There's no like networks or anything like that yet. They're going to start shipping it. They said, though, they're going to start shipping it. They're going to get high-end filmmakers and a showrunner involved, and they want to ship it to premium services. So you're thinking cable or your streaming service. That's what they're looking for here. Which, given that if they want to keep the one thing that everyone remembers about that movie, which is the exploding heads, they're going to want to be on not network. So the movie, which was written and directed by Cronenberg, is about an underground network of people born with telekinetic abilities, living on the fringes of society that are hunted down by the forces that created them. So, there you go. That's what it is. So, people who are made telekinetic, now the scientists in the military or whoever who created them are hunting them down. So, I can see the TV show in that. I can see that working as a long form idea.
There is potential there.
So, no, it's not a bad idea, and if they are going to get, as they put it, like high-class talent involved, get it on a good service.
I think that's some of the highest praise we've ever given to a reboot.
Yeah. Sure.
No, we're quite cynical about it. It's like, why is this a TV show? Whereas that one, I go, I can see how that can be a good TV show.
I can see it. Next up on Reboot Roulette, I hope the bullet's in this one. Len Wiseman and his production company, Sketch Films, are going to have an Underworld TV show.
How did I not hear about this one?
Because you just blocked it out. You didn't want to know about it. You wanted to just go
So
on
the
with
worst
your
part
life.
is, I don't even hate those movies.
I've
had fun with the first one.
I can't say I hate those movies because I never saw anything past the first one, but I hated it.
I wouldn't say it's a good movie, because it's not, but I had fun with it.
This one, funnily enough, no network yet, but it is targeting the premium cable and digital space. That is the exact phrase in the article. So this seems to be a thing. We're like, no, we don't want this to be on network. We want this to be on one of these places. Your Amazon, your Netflix, your Hulu, or your HBO, Showtime. One of these.
This is one where, even if you don't like the movies, the core idea could make a brilliant TV show.
Oh yeah, there's nothing wrong with the idea itself. The whole point of the show is that vampires and werewolves are at war. That's the gist of it, and they're both like part of their own society. I hated the movie because it was just this cheap mid-2000s, desaturated looking cheesy action movie that was trying to like hump the Matrix. It was humping the Matrix's leg.
That's why I had fun with it. It was cheesy.
But it wasn't fun cheesy. It took itself so seriously.
Yeah, but I didn't take it seriously. I just had fun with it.
Oh, I hated it so much. But I admit there's a potential for a TV show, and Wiseman did say the series will be a departure from from the movies. It'll be more adult. I don't want to say it'll be more adult, but it's definitely less comic book in its tone and character. So I'll take that with a grain of salt, but potentially it could end up feeling quite different.
I'm kind of down for that. Like, again, if it is a big enough departure, this could be very good.
Yeah, but here's the question though. I mean, I've already got a really good vampire TV show in existence, and there was a werewolf or two on that as well. You may have heard of it as the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
God damn it. This will be better. I don't even mean that.
Where's the straitjacket? We need a padded cell. Connor's going to the nut house. Oh my. Alright, next up on Reboot Roulette. What are we at? This is the third one, I think, right? Or is this fourth?
Fourth?
What did we have? We had Nice Girls, Scanners, Underworld. This is fourth on Reboot Roulette. It's also last, actually, to be fair. But four's still a lot.
Four's a meaty section.
But yeah, so Fox is developing a reboot of the 1970s series Kung Fu.
Cool.
I never saw this, actually. I basically only know it exists because I'm a big fan of Kill Bill, and I forget David Carradine, who's in that. He plays Bill. He was the star of this, I believe, if I remember correctly. So, and here's another trend that's happening here. This is going to be a female spin on the show.
Yeah.
So the lead character's going to be a lady.
And if I recall, this one's from Greg Berlanti, so this one has the most chance of actually happening.
I feel like a lot of these are going to happen, though, to be fair.
Yeah, probably.
There's not really anything about the rest of them that make me feel like, oh, no, it's not going to happen, or like...
No, but the other ones feel like, okay, they could be a ways off. Whereas this one, Greg Berlanti, he'll shuffle it along his back channels.
Yeah, so... Yeah, interesting that Kung Fu and the Nice Girls are both at Fox as well. That's interesting. But the Kung Fu reboot will put a new spin on the classic show, this time featuring a female lead. It will follow the adventures of Lucy Chang, a Buddhist monk and Kung Fu master who travels through 1950s America. So they're doing one period piece.
Oh, yeah. This one gets to be the 50s, but you couldn't have Nice Girls be 70s. Oh, no.
1950s America, armed only with her spiritual training and her martial arts skills as she searches for the man who stole her child years before. When she teams up with J.T. Cullen, a charming Korean war vet with his own secrets, the two form an unlikely alliance that allows Lucy to continue her search while also coming to the aid of people in need. It's got a pilot commitment order. Do you know what? I'm going to commend this a little bit, actually, because they very clearly stated in that description that both the main character and the love interest, or maybe not love interest, but the ally, the second main character, are both not white. I will applaud them for that, because I feel like more often than not, if you give me a lead character who's not white, well, every other character's probably going to be white to make up for it. That's their thinking.
Yeah.
I actually applaud. You know, remember, like in Master of None, they had that whole thing where, oh, we can't have two Indian characters in the same show because then it'll be the Indian show. It has to be. You can have one Indian character. They can be the Indian character, but there has to be X number of white characters to make it work for network. Yeah. This is, to me, is at least a sign that they're willing to try and do something with two Asian characters. So I'll give them props for that. As for the show itself, it could be fun. Like, it depends what tone they go with. It depends what.
I feel like this has to be really cheesy for me to enjoy it.
Yeah, that's kind of what my feeling is. I feel like if this takes itself too seriously, I'm probably not going to be into it. But who knows? That's just. I mean, we say that right now, but who's to say if they give us a genuinely good drama set in the 50s with this, this character looking for a missing child?
I think I don't expect that from Fox. I think I'm more likely to enjoy a cheesy show from them.
No, that's fair. No, I agree with that. But I'm saying it's possible.
It is.
But at least right now, I think for me to enjoy this, I want cheesy.
Also, how long till every show on TV comes from Greg Berlanti?
2022.
Sounds reasonable.
Everything else has to finish first. That's why I'm saying about them.
Yeah, it's true.
Supernatural finally has to end so that he can take that slot.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's Kung Fu. So that brings it into Reboot Roulette. Honestly, none of them upset me that much. Even Underworld, which I don't like.
Which is shocking, because usually you're like, it's another reboot every week.
Do you know what the thing is, though? Is all of these things, like, Nice Girls is maybe the weird one, where it's like, I really like that. Like, I love The Nice Guys. I think it's a great movie. But at least I don't really feel like this show kind of even affects it if it's terrible or whatever. I don't feel like it's just another buddy cop show with a name that's similar. Whereas I get more annoyed at things like, oh, we're continuing the Karate Kid years later. I'm like, the Karate Kid story's finished. Leave it be. Like, it's stupid. Go away. And I've never seen Kung Fu, so I'm not annoyed at it because I don't have any attachment to it. Underworld, I think, is a shit movie. So you know what? This could be better. Why not? And Scanners was a decent movie, but I don't love it. Like, I don't remember a lot of it, if I'm honest. I probably need to rewatch it. It may be better than I remember, but I see the potential for a TV show in there. Like, I see it. Whereas something like Karate Kid, it just feels so forced.
Yeah. No, I get you. With Karate Kid, it feels like, oh, it's Karate Kid. People are going to watch this. Whereas Scanners, it doesn't feel like there's that many people who are going to watch it because it's Scanners.
Oh, of course, yeah.
It's people are going to watch it because this sounds good or looks good.
Exactly. So, but I see potential for a show there. So, all right. So let's go into some non-reboot things. Almost a lot of these are based on things, but to be honest, at this point, we can't really avoid that. Like almost every show is based on a book or a comic at this point. Some are based on a podcast.
Hollywood's done it for decades, so why not?
Yeah. I mean, although I feel like there was a time even with Hollywood where you'd have a nice ratio of just original things based on book things, and whereas now I feel like the balance is very weighted to one side.
That's fair. Very few original properties.
So Amazon have been announcing more shows they've got in development. They're pumping all these out, and here's the thing:
they're determined to compete with Netflix, aren't they?
I think they're going to though. If
I do as well, but if this time last year I was like, okay, Amazon, whatever.
We've had like several already that we've been interested. Carnival Row, that was the fantasy one. They've had other sci-fi things that they've had in development.
The Refn one.
The Refn one. They've got a lot of things. It seems like they're announcing things constantly, and they've had potential, if not outright exciting.
Yeah.
They've got 3 new, completely fresh announcements here that they brought up. The first one, Lazarus. Based on the comic book by Greg Rucka and Michael Lark. I can speak heavily to this because I love that comic book. I'm not up to date, I've not read the last batch of issues, but like I've read the first like 20 or so of them, out of like 30 or whatever it is right now.
I read the first trade. I didn't love it. It's alright, but I think it's still a good idea for a TV show.
I do love it. I think it's comparable to Black Magic, which you also like from him.
I never quite got into it. I don't know what it is. I think it's the weakest thing I've read from Rucka.
I'd say keep reading. It gets better as it goes. That'd be my advice.
Effort.
Sure, but anyway, really, really good stuff. So that's it's very rare that something's based on something where I'm like, oh, I actually have read that thing. But no, I have read this thing, and it's very good. Rucka is serving as a writer on this, and an executive producer, as is Michael Lark. So those people are involved. The description they've gave us here, it's set in an alternative near future where the world has been divided into 16 rival families who run their territories in a feudal system. Each family has allies and enemies among the other families. To crush uprisings and fight wars, most families have a Lazarus, a one-person kill squad. This is a person, and that's the end of the description, but just to sort of elaborate on that a little bit. The Lazarus is a person who is from childhood trained and raised to be the most deadly and loyal killer for that family. That's what the show is. So it's a science fiction show set in this kind of post-apocalyptic kind of style world where this is the system that everyone's abiding by. It's really good. I think this has got a lot of potential for a show. When we did the pilot for Into the Badlands, I commented that was a really bad version of Lazarus because it had the whole family system. But I am excited about this. I think this has potential. Rucka being involved is a good sign. It's just a case of, do we get good filmmakers to come in and sort of bring it to the screen?
Yeah, I'm definitely not as excited as you, clearly, but I'm down.
Yeah, I'm so into it. So that's the first thing they announced is in development this week. The second thing they announced is in development is called Snow Crash. And by the way, notice this, Fox and NBC, all these have titles. I just want to point that out there. Snow Crash, which is based upon Neil Stephenson's cult novel, is a 1-hour science fiction drama set in futuristic America. Now, before I read the rest of this description, I want to point out, I'm about to say something that when I read this news article, I burst out laughing. And I had to stop reading it for like several minutes to regain my composure. Because I read the main character's name.
Go on.
In reality, the main character, hero protagonist.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Hero protagonist delivers pizza for Uncle Enzo's Cosno Nostra Pizza Inc. But, in the metaverse, he's a warrior prince. Plunging headlong into the enigma of a new computer virus that is striking down hackers everywhere, he races along the neon-lit streets on a search of seek and destroy for the shadowy virtual villain. Yes!
I'm so down for that.
There's not a part of that description that I do not love.
and it even mentions Neon.
Yeah, so in the future, he's a pizza delivery guy. Hero protagonist is a bit on the nose as a character name as you can get.
But in a glorious way.
And he goes into like a virtual world called the Metaverse. And he does combat in the virtual world. And there's like a virus like taking over the planet and he has to fight it as a hero inside the virtual world. Yes.
Sounds so good.
I hope it happens. Amazon's swinging big. They're swinging
Amazon
big.
have got my subscription locked in, haven't they? Like,
Yeah.
Obviously, like, there was a while ago where I said, obviously this is before they started pumping out the content so much, where I was considering dropping Netflix, but then obviously they hit out with stuff, and I was like, okay, Netflix have got me around for pretty much ever.
Mm-hmm.
And Amazon, I'm in the same bit. I was like, do I really need to keep paying for Amazon? Clearly, I do.
Here's the thing. I think there's going to be a point in the future where it's just going to we're just going to review Netflix and Amazon shows because there's going to be one every single week, and that'll just be what we do every week. Is we'll just review those shows because there'll be too many of them.
That's it. It'll be Amazon, Netflix, and some of the premium cable network shows will have no chance.
Yeah, if this keeps going the way it's going, yeah, we're going to get to that reality. So the third show that they announced is in development is called Ringworld. It is based on Larry Niven's sci-fi book series from the 1970s. It tells the story of Louis Gridley. Louis Gridley Wu. It was on a new line there, so I didn't, it sounded like a full name. I didn't look for another word. A bored man celebrating his 200th birthday in a technologically advanced future Earth. Upon being offered one of the open positions on a voyage, Louis joins a young woman and two aliens to explore Ringworld, the remote artificial ring beyond, and then this is in air quotes, well not air quotes, you know what I mean, so it's in quotation marks, known space.
Sounds cool.
So yeah, so they're exploring on the edge of known space, basically. This one is the least exciting of the three, but it still sounds fantastic. Potentially.
I'm going, it's cool, I'm down. But that's just because we've just come off something that sounded just...
Do you know what? If Amazon want to be the premium sci-fi service, I'm okay with it. If they want to keep pumping out these sci-fi shows...
Yeah, I mean, you'd think that's what sci-fi were for.
And to be fair, sci-fi are making a good go of it themselves. They're announcing tons of stuff that sounds... They've got Happy coming, they have The Expanse, they have Krypton coming, they have stuff announced for next year that sounds interesting.
Yeah, they're genuinely trying.
So it's not even like they're resting on their laurels. But really...
I think it is like that. Like, things like Amazon have kind of spurred sci-fi into action. Amazon and Netflix, yeah, because they're tackling more genre stuff than, say, HBO. And
HBO's okay because HBO were already doing stuff, and they do the kind of the more highbrow kind of drama stuff.
Right, but sci-fi are looking at these, Netflix and Amazon. They're going, "Hey, that's our territory," and they're kind of trying to have to fight back now.
Yeah, it's interesting. We're really in kind of a golden age of like TV here, just in terms of like everyone's really trying, even if not everything's obviously working out great. Everyone seems to be trying.
Well, I remember people saying, Amazon getting into the game would be bad because it's splitting up all the. Yeah, it splits up all the. It's the start of the splitting of services of for just things like Netflix.
Competition is good.
Exactly. Between and Hulu as well, of course, got into the game big in the last year or so.
Yeah, obviously Handmaid's Tale was their first big awards winner. They're sort of making a push for it. I think competition... I mean, there is the worry that everyone starts their own streaming service and it becomes this kind of, okay, we can't have all of them, so you have to pick and choose, and it dilutes everything. But it comes to like just two or three, the competition is good, because it forces them to compete with each other and to keep being better.
They have to do better than the other person. And obviously, when there's no one to compete with, you can just sit there and stay at the same level because people are going to pay you because you're the only choice.
In fact, it's actually worse. You end up getting so comfortable that you stop even trying like you did before because no one's there to even motivate you. Just to compare it to wrestling for a sort of brief minute, like wrestling, I mean, not all of it was gold by any means. There was a lot of really bad stuff, but that was at its best when there was two companies competing to be the best, and they were trying new things because they had to try and do something different that the other one wasn't doing. And ever since that stopped being the case and we had one dominant and it's just been like stagnant for the last like 15, 20 years, it's just, it's not been as good. It's just been, yeah, the actual in-ring stuff's been exciting to a point. You have good people performing and stuff, but the actual creativity is just kind of absent. that it was there. It didn't have the same fire like it used to. And I think having the competition between Amazon and Netflix, and Hulu being the sort of the third party, is only a good thing.
Yeah, and I really do think that's what's making, because Sci-Fi for a long time they sat there and churned out shit. And
Sharknado 3, Sharknado 4, Sharknado 5.
And they seemed okay with it because they were the only choice. People were watching it still. For anything that was actually somewhat related to that sort of stuff, that genre stuff. For a while, they were the only choice.
I'll maybe put a tangent on that thought. I don't think it's necessarily so much that they were the only choice for that type of content. I think it was just that TV and cable in general, cable TV channels in general, that was just what was available. But Netflix and Amazon offering better content is forcing them to say, oh wait, people are going to watch that stuff instead. We have to actually put something on that people care about, otherwise everyone's just going to leave us. Because why would they come to us and watch something at X time when they can view on demand something that's much better at any time?
Yeah.
So...
of course, we're even seeing CBS All Access with Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah, that's where the dilution starting to come in, is where all the networks start to do their own things.
But the problem is, if they're putting out good content, is it still a good thing? Even if it's diluted in terms of, okay, it becomes more like cable. No. You have to choose your package and limit what you get.
It becomes kind of like comic books, where you have a pull list of like services you have. Okay, so I'll have Netflix and Amazon. Maybe I'll take All Access, and maybe I'll take Shudder for the horror movies, and then that'll be it.
Yeah. You're gonna have to pick and choose. But ultimately, is it better to have, say, out of a possible 20 services, and you say, right, I'm going to have these 10 and have better content?
Well, 10 sounds like a lot still, but yeah, sure.
No, just hypothetically, compared to say, all right, I'm going to have 4 services, but they're not that great comparatively. They're decent.
Sure,
but the wrong way around there, but whatever.
Yeah, you confused your message there, but
I might have done. You all know what I meant.
But yeah. I think 4 or 5 is kind of the tipping point. I think for most people, once you're beyond that, they don't want to pay for it anymore.
Yeah.
Because then the appeal of it being cheaper than just paying for a big cable package is kind of lost. So I think that's a smart thing. I think most people are willing to pay for 2 or 3 things like Netflix and Amazon, and then 1 or 2 niche things where it's like, like Shudder for horror fans. Like, okay, you get that as well because you want your niche thing catered to.
Yeah.
And that makes a lot of sense to me. That's just the example I use because I'm a horror guy, but obviously there's tons of things like that. Like if you're into wrestling, the WWE Network would be one of your niche ones. For example, that's what I feel like most people are more or less willing to get. But when it becomes a case of, okay, because I think when it comes to something like Star Trek fans with CBS All Access, it becomes a case of, they're going to get that for the weeks that it's on, but then they're immediately going to cancel it.
No, that's fair. And then I guess it's up to that service to then provide enough year round that people want to just stick around.
And I think we're at the point now with Netflix and Amazon where they are doing that, or at least they will be. Like Netflix already are, I think. Amazon are getting close to it.
Like I said, I was looking at Amazon recently and going, do I need to keep paying for this? But then I see all this stuff that's coming up where, okay, maybe it's not here right now, but there is enough coming that is going to make me want to pay for it.
Yeah,
so I might as well.
The last couple of months alone, we've had Comrade Detective and The Tick, both of which we enjoyed.
Yeah, and we got Lore coming, which I don't think we're covering just based on what it is, but I'm still interested in watching it.
Yeah. Lore looks interesting, even if it's not the type of thing we'd talk about. So yeah, that was a bit of a tangent.
Yeah, like we needed that this week.
We're not quite done with Amazon yet, though. That's the new things they announced, but they also acquired a couple of foreign series this week.
Amazon have been very busy lately.
They have been. 2 German shows in particular. So the first one's actually called Germanized, of all things. There's a German series. It was just announced to exist earlier this week, actually, or last week. It's a half-hour show set in a near-bankrupt French village that welcomes a German company and hundreds of German workers. So it's kind of like all these foreigners coming into the town. So it's kind of an interesting thing, just from like a. Doing that with France and Germany.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. That's an interesting choice. And this is the Germans making this?
Yes.
Okay.
So they could be exploring some interesting things. Maybe tension from history might...
I feel like it has to, surely.
Yeah. So I think there's potential there. So that's announced as coming. Amazon have picked up the global rights outside of Germany and 1 or 2 other European countries. This actually is their 3rd German show. They have You Are Wanted, which is a cyber thriller. I remember talking about that when it first popped up. The other one was also this week, and this one's actually really close to the release because they picked up the global rights of 4 Blocks, which is also a German series from TNT Serie. That's who made it in Germany, so German TNT company, I guess. But yeah, so the first season's actually coming out on October 4th, which is this week.
Yeah.
So we are probably far too busy to even try that, unfortunately. But it is coming this week, so if you want to check it out, it's a six episode series. It follows an Arab family in the Neukölln district of Berlin, where Tony Hamidi and his wife Kalila want to leave their 4 blocks, and put criminal activities behind them. But after his brother-in-law is arrested in a raid, Tony owes it to his family to take over the operational leadership of the clan. When an old friend suddenly returns to Berlin, Tony believes he has someone he can trust at his side, and the hope of a lawful future seems to be within reach once more. But it's too late for an escape. So it's a crime family drama.
Sounds interesting enough.
Yeah, it sounds fine.
I don't love crime dramas at the best of times, though. So I'm not. I mean, it sounds alright, but it's not necessarily my thing.
No, that's fair. So that's coming in October 4th to Amazon. So yeah, and the whole first season that'll be as per usual with Amazon. So
cool.
So yeah, I like this trend of Netflix and Amazon bringing foreign shows or even making foreign shows.
Even if it's ones that I'm not going to watch or have no interest in, I'm glad that they're available because it's such a new thing to have these foreign shows available to us.
Yeah, so many of them so readily. It's a new thing. For the record, that takes us on to page 7 of the news. Because I know Connor...
You still won't tell us how many?
No.
Out of?
No.
Oh, because the thing is, it could be out of page 8. We could be nearly done. Or it could be out of page 20.
I'll say this, it's less than 20.
If it's 19, I'm going to stab you.
So next up... so this is actually quite a big deal, although Connor's going to be oddly negative about this. But so the Russo brothers have signed on to produce and adapt Deadly Class, which is based on a comic book for Sci-Fi. So this is again coming back to Sci-Fi, making more sort of bigger programming. That's as much as Connor might not be into this because he doesn't like the writer of the book. This is clearly a big deal. This is a big get.
Yeah, no, I have no interest in seeing it, but it's definitely a big deal.
Are you officially refusing to just try the pilot for review?
I'll see how the trailer looks.
Mm-hmm. Because
I did try the book and I hated it.
Yeah, but there's tons of books that turn into good movies or shows and vice versa.
But the problem is, one of my biggest problems was the characters. That I hated the characters.
Sure, but they could give them more heart. I mean, just look at...
They could. So I'm saying I'll wait and see a trailer before I say anything definitive. If it looks like, okay, they're the same characters, then, I might be out of that one.
But it'd be interesting to see the first episode and just see if they've put a spin on it that actually gives it more. Because you may not even get that in a trailer. You might, it may just look like it's an adaptation in the trailer, but then you watch the show and it's like, oh no, they've actually given depth to these characters that maybe wasn't there before.
We'll see close to time. There's a long time before we have to worry about this, so we'll see close.
True. I just think it's weird to outright refuse to watch it. Given that you were the one who suggested, oh, maybe we should do Young Sheldon. It feels outright
that's
weird.
Different. That was a hate watch, intentional. This is something that you may very well love.
I mean not though. I don't know. Because the funny thing is I don't even like Rick Remender that much as a writer either. I've not really been into any of his stuff that I've tried, but I've not tried this specifically, admittedly. Anyway, what is Deadly Class, is what you're probably asking. Deadly Class is set against the backdrop of late 1980s counterculture and follows a disillusioned teen recruited into a storied high school for assassins. Maintaining his moral code while surviving a ruthless curriculum, vicious social cliques, and his own adolescent uncertainties may prove fatal. So... it's Assassin Hogwarts, I guess is what I'll read
pretty much
from that description. But could be fun. I think again it's an example of sci-fi going for something big. This is not just some little thing they're going to shit out for cheap. This seems to be we're making big strides with big content.
It sounds that way at least, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So next up, Robert Kirkman's Skybound Entertainment has optioned a novel for development as a TV show, which I didn't even realise his company did this, but apparently it does. Which, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't Robert Kirkman sign something with Amazon recently?
I thought he did.
This doesn't mention Amazon, but if his company's tied to Amazon, does that just automatically mean that it's an Amazon project?
Unless Amazon gets like first dibs at anything.
Yeah, but then he can shop it elsewhere if they say no. Yeah, maybe that's the case. Or maybe he can just do things outside of the... Because the deal with Amazon might just be that he's to make X number of shows for them. That doesn't necessarily mean that he can't make other things as well.
Yeah, and it could be specific to do with his properties.
That's true, yeah. So anyway, they've optioned Gateway, which is a novel. 1977 novel. It is the first in a 6-book series known as the He-Chi saga that chronicles the history of an alien race. Gateway tells the story of a poor miner, Robinette Stetley Broadhead, that's a hell of a name, who makes a dangerous trip into space to seek a fortune and escape the difficulties of living on a barren and overcrowded Earth.
Sounds alright.
Yes, sounds like my kind of thing. It's, Earth's a shithole now. It's poor, and there's no resources left. All the poor people still live there, where all the rich people are up, in fancy space stations and other planets. And he wants to go out and try and make his fortune. What's interesting though is that they said the saga, the whole series of books, was like chronicling the life of this, or the history of this alien race, and that description doesn't actually talk about any alien race. So I'm wondering if he encounters this alien race, and maybe the reason why the book, because it actually specifically mentions that the deal with the estate of who owns these books, it means that he can also develop the other 5 books into other projects, which is a very weird thing to state. Because I think if you just heard, it's the first of 6 books, you're like, okay, that'd be season 2, would be the second book, and so on.
Yeah.
But it sounds like they're different enough, which makes me think that maybe this alien race pops into all the stories, but isn't actually the focal point. And maybe there's big time jumps. Maybe they're set at a couple of different times, and so...
It says it's this 6-book series, but maybe it's more thematic. They're connected in the same universe, but they're not, actually sequels necessarily in terms of plot.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. So I think that's interesting that maybe we'd get other shows out of this series, or maybe do a movie out of the series. Who knows? Or maybe they do actually sort of do a thing where they say it's an anthology and say, season 1's this book, then season 2 is going to be...
Yeah, could do.
Maybe they do that, but... so that's something that's been developed. There's no network yet or anything like that, although we did speculate that it might end up at Amazon because of his ties to them now. Alright, next, speaking of optioning books to make shows, Channing Tatum's Free Association company has optioned a book called Gorilla and the Bird, a memoir of madness and a mother's love, to develop as a TV show. So it's a memoir. It was released actually on the day of this news article going out, September 26th. So it's fresh, it's new, and it chronicles Zach McDermott's personal battle with bipolar disorder. So that's what it's about. So here's the pretty lengthy description for this one actually, but I think it's worth saying because it sounds quite interesting. Gorilla and the Bird follows Zach, aka the gorilla. So in the story, that's kind of the metaphor. He's the gorilla. His fight to regain his sanity after a devastating psychotic break, with the help of the only person who didn't give up on him, his mother, aka the bird. So the cover's actually quite cool. It's like a gorilla in a cage, like a bird cage, and the bird's on top of the cage, sort of like holding him up kind of thing. So at least the visual metaphor's quite cool. I think it's a good title actually, if they end up just calling it, because there's no official title for the show, but I assume it'll be Gorilla and the Bird, because it's a good title.
We keep talking about that, don't we, how they just take the first bit of the colon.
Yeah, this is good though. It's a good title. Anyway, this inspirational mother who had her own challenges of overcoming domestic abuse and poverty to raise 3 children on her own, stuck by him and helped him recover as he was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. Zach's sudden illness took him on a harrowing journey, including delusions of being filmed and receiving messages through the TV, running naked through the cornfields, seeing the Virgin Mary, being arrested on a subway platform, and being committed to Bellevue Hospital. Prior to his illness, Zach had a job as a highly successful public defender for the Legal Aid the Legal Aid Society of New York. The series will tell the story of McDermott and his mother's heartbreaking yet inspiring battle.
That was pretty lengthy.
Yeah. All of it was interesting, though. I don't think there was any part of that I felt comfortable... Because hearing all those examples of the things that he did while he was having breaks and stuff, actually, it was like, okay, that's how serious this is. And I wonder how they're going to treat this material, because it's I could see this just being really depressing the entire time.
Yeah.
I could also see them going with a sort of dark humour attached to it, which would oddly actually kind of fit with bipolar disorder. I
was going to say if they flip between the two.
Because I say that as someone who's lived in a house with someone with bipolar disorder. Like, you know, not as extreme as this. There was no delusions of these kind of sort of grandeur, but like the whole idea is that you do kind of flip between moods and kind of things like that. So I wonder if there is, like, you know, you see the humour in some of the absurd things that he does, or if they play with that and, you know, go down that kind of route. But
I think it'd be really interesting to work it into the fabric of the show and, you know, like flip between tones.
Yeah. There's no mention of what the overall plans are. It sounds like a limited season to me, like, you know, a one season done kind of story, 6 or 8 episodes, and that would be it. But it sounds like a good way of telling that story, though.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, So that's that. Next up, again, speaking of acquiring rights to things to make, Europa Corp TV Studios has acquired the rights to Howard Chaykin's classic comic book series American Flag, which I'll be honest, I'd never heard of before I read this. Flag with 2 G's, just for anyone keeping track at home. American Flag is a satirical look at the high-tech consumerist future in which the US government has relocated to Mars and left the nation's earthbound populace to be governed by the all-encompassing corporation, the Plex. The saga's hero, Reuben Flagg, is a former TV star with a naive understanding of the American dream who is drafted into law enforcement in an utterly corrupt shopping mall like Chicago. Europa Corp is about to look for writers and directors and is going to be shopping to networks and stuff later in the year.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, concept sounds fine. It's funny because I really only associate the Howard Chaykin's name with all the controversy that he's went through recently with his image book that's got a lot of...
Yeah, I think he's always been pretty controversial. Like, even, you know, you talk about that there, there's controversial ideas in it.
Oh, yeah, this here, it's definitely poking at things.
Yeah.
Which is fine. It makes more sense to go for something from, you know, further back in his catalogue and his recent stuff, because his recent stuff is very, you know, very current and in a very extreme way, I'll say.
Yes, it is.
So,
but it's one of those things where, like, this, at the time it was written, was also very you know, current at that point.
No, I like the idea. I like the sentence I like the most, actually, is the shopping mall like Chicago.
That sounds cool, doesn't it?
I like that. I like that idea. Like, it's making me think of, like, the entire city's just this commercial cesspool. And, like, he's a mall cop for an entire city. I don't know. I'm digging that idea. So that's the thing. All right. Let's get on to the network. Now, there's been 1 or 2 network shows if they fit into the other categories, but now we're on to the proper
finally
network section. So first up, Fox is developing so we're at Fox section first, of course. Fox is developing a cop drama, because of course they are. Diablo Cody's producing it. If you don't know her, she wrote Juno and Jennifer's Body, so she's a sort
I like Juno.
Movie. I like Juno as well. The project here is called Two Nights, and it follows an ex-cop. This isn't as good as Hero Protagonist, but this is one where I had to reread it a couple of times to make sure, because I didn't understand the sentence at first, and I went, oh, that's just the character's name. Oh. The character's called Sunday Night. It follows ex-cop Sunday Night, described as an eccentric smartass with scars of all types who lives on a shrinking island with her pet squirrel.
Wait. Rewind a little bit. I was with you until lives on a shrinking island, and now I feel like I'm not sure what this show is.
I'll start again, shall I?
Yeah, please.
It follows ex-cop Sunday Night, described as an eccentric smartass with scars of all types and who lives on a shrinking island with her pet squirrel and not much else.
I have no idea what this is.
But when her foster father asks for help in the kidnapping case of a young girl, Sunday is pulled back into the world of law enforcement, forcing her to confront her own demons as she solves cases for the Criminal Investigative Division of the FBI. It's been ordered for a pilot. It's been ordered for a script with a commitment.
I kind of love that. But it'll just be a Fox cop show ultimately.
Yeah, here's the thing. It sounds crazy as hell, and then it's like, oh, but then she comes back into the civilization to be a cop, and it's like, okay, so she's just a cop show. But she had a pet squirrel, and she was on an island. And her name is Sunday Night. Here's the thing. See if this show goes full cheese.
I'm down.
I might love it. But it needs to go cheese.
That's it. First half of that description, I'm like, yes, I'm in for this. This is so good. And then it gets to, now it's a Fox cop show.
But our partner's a squirrel.
They had to have the twist somewhere.
Alright, Fox is given a script plus penalty commitment to a semi-autobiographical hip-hop dance drama that's called Take It From The Top, which is, it says it's a working title, but I quite like that title. Keep that, that's fine.
It's not bad.
Yeah. From choreographer Fatima Robinson. It's inspired by Robinson's life as a dancer turned choreographer and is set in the 1990s in Los Angeles, just as hip-hop dance begins to dominate pop culture. From the streets and clubs that gave birth to hip-hop dance, the show follows Fatima and her crew as she rises in this exploding new world set against her stifling family obligations and personal life. Of course, that last sentence had to be there, because it's always about juggling the professional and personal life.
Up till that, it's like, okay, this sounds like a fairly original idea. Oh, wait, it's just work personal life balance. Okay.
No, to be fair, that doesn't really change anything about the premise of the show.
It doesn't.
That was always going to be a part of it. It's just they always put that in there.
It is, but when they put it in the description, it feels like, okay, that's a bigger focus than it should be.
Who knows? It may be more about her dancing stuff. You might be into it.
I might.
You might be into it. Next up, you remember how earlier on we had the Silicon Valley show?
Yeah.
Well, Fox are developing a show called Silicon Beach, produced by McGee.
Cool.
Who also, I think he also produced the OC, which was also a kind of similar show, actually. But anyway, Silicon Beach, named after the West Los Angeles area close to the Pacific coast, that is home to over 500 tech startup companies, centres on the 26-year-old Maya Carter, who lives at home with her family and is someone you'd never guess has the potential to change the world. Then again, you're not billionaire Alex Silva, the amoral venture capitalist who plucks her from her modest life so she can do just that. Surrounded by unimaginable wealth and opportunity, Maya fights to make her mark and keep her soul in the cutthroat world of tech startups, as she does it all bathed in the warm glow of the California sun. Oh, and steps from the clear blue waters of the Pacific, in place for millennial ambitions. That was just such a good ending. Why did I need any more? Stop it. It was basically just describing Silicon Beach for the rest of it, so I'll just ignore the rest, but that was it.
I've never heard it referred to as Silicon Beach. You know, I always hear it as Silicon Valley, the area.
Yeah, no, yeah. I guess it has a beach.
I guess it does. Doesn't surprise me, but I just never heard it referred to. You know, when it says, the area for all these startups. I'm like,
yeah, but there's already a show called Silicon Valley, Connor.
No, I know, but it feels like they're cheating here.
Maybe they could do that whole, Beverly Hills 90210 thing and just use the zip code. This is the zip code for Silicon Valley.
Yeah. I can get away with that.
Should do that. Yeah, I'm not really feeling it, but whatever.
No, me either.
Sounds fine. For what it is, like, if you're into that.
Honestly, I was waiting to I'd kind of forgot this was on Fox. I was kind of waiting for it to go, right, and how does their startup fight crime?
Yeah, how does she team up with a cop and they're the unlikely duo?
Yeah.
Okay, one last thing at Fox. They've given a script plus penalty commitment to One Call, That's All, a dramedy from Guilt creators Catherine Price and Nicole Millard. One Call is inspired by the South's most successful accident attorney, Ken Nugent. Described as part legal show, part family dramedy, it revolves around the larger-than-life personal injury attorney in Atlanta and his huge, highly entertaining family, all who work for him. We're talking siblings, kids, son-in-laws, former stepson, and even one of his ex-wives. Basically, all I'm reading from this is, we want our Better Call Saul, and it won't be nearly as good, but...
See, I was going, we really want to do a family comedy, but we've got too many characters to make this into a 20-minute sitcom, so let's just make it a
Okay.
40-minute.
I don't know, because the whole One Call That Saul, all I could think of was Better Call Saul, and
Yeah.
obviously it's a very different show. It's not going to have the whole ongoing plot with the everything else that's happening in that show. But it feels like anything that I would get out of enjoyment with this show, I feel like I'm already getting from Saul, even though they're going to be vastly different, I imagine.
Still a good name though.
Oh, it's an okay name, yeah. So we'll go over to ABC. Oh, look at that! They're developing a show based on a book. It's a famous book, though, A Tale of Two Cities.
Oh, okay.
It's called Two Cities, the show. Is described as a modern update of Dickens' novel set against the backdrop of a society on the verge of revolution, where the tensions between the haves and the have-nots has reached a breaking point. At the centre of the story is Lucy Manette, who is rehabilitating a stricken father she's only just met, while caught between two men she loves for different reasons. That sounds soapy as all hell. I don't think I'm into it.
Yep. I'm out.
Yeah, I'm good. Alright, sticking with ABC, they have got a soapy drama called Broken Record.
I'm out.
We have to go through it for the emotions.
Yeah, I just wanted to be clear that at which point I was out at.
It's got a pilot commitment. Broken Record revolves around the former members of a girl band. 9 years ago,
Oh, I'm back in.
superstar girl group The Candies imploded. Now, on the anniversary of their breakup, a tragic event brings the girls back together for an unexpected encore. Broken Record tracks the journey of these four women at a certain age, or of a certain age, as they navigate changing tides in the music business and attempt to find their second acts in life and in friendship.
Oh, I'm good.
The Candies is a good name for a girl band, though. I'll give them that.
It is good. There's parts of that where I go, oh, I'd love this. But then I remember you described it.
Soapy.
It was soapy. I was like, nope, don't want this.
Alright, sticking with ABC, they have also got this is actually kind of a reboot as well, but I kept it out of the reboot section because it's a bit much smaller thing, and I'd never heard of it, and but here we are.
I hope you get some shit from a commenter who loves whatever this is.
I'm so sorry to fans of Get Christy Love. I'm so sorry. You've not heard of it, have you, Connor?
No.
Aye, so shut up. It's an hour-long drama, and it's ABC. Amongst the producers, Vin Diesel's listed, but I don't think he's got anything particularly connected to it, other than the fact that his company's producing it. It's got a pilot commitment. The project is a co-production between Lionsgate TV and Universal TV. It is inspired by the cult 1974 blaxploitation themed TV movie Get Christy Love. It's a TV movie, come on now.
No wonder we never heard of it.
It also had a short-lived series after as well, that spawned out of it. But that was an ABC show as well. The new Get Christy Love, which does not have the exclamation point in the title, which the original did, is an action-packed, music-driven drama that centres on Christy Love, an African-American female CIA agent who leads an elite ops unit. She transforms into whomever she needs to get the job done, especially when it's down to the wire and the stakes are life and death. The high adrenaline missions of the series are anchored by the emotional mystery about Christie's first love, and unearthing the truth about this relationship will be the biggest mission impossible of her life. That was just weird because I didn't expect Mission Impossible, and in the style of Mission Impossible, but this kind of goes back into the kung fu thing. If this is actually a blaxploitation show, I might love it.
I was down for it until it was like, oh, this hidden relationship is the biggest part of the show.
It depends if it's like, oh, something mysterious from her past. Like, I can see that kind of working with it. Like, if this is actually going to go down, like, if this actually feels like Jackie Brown and she's like this, like, because one of the things it said is that she becomes whoever she needs to be to get the jobs done. Like, is that actually going to be dressing up and like being different characters? Does she go undercover? Like,
Yeah.
if this is actually like a cheesy blaxploitation show, I could really be into it. However, I feel like it's going to be a really sort of generic CIA show on ABC.
That's more likely, yeah.
It's more likely. But I really like Jackie Brown. Not Jackie Brown. Oh, I do like Jackie Brown, but oh god, Pam Grier. Oh, Foxy Brown. That's what I meant. I like Foxy Brown. It's a good movie.
So let's about to say, I knew what you were going for. I just wanted to watch you struggle.
It's because Tarantino named it after that movie. So
Yeah, I know.
All right. So we're on page 10 of the news.
Come on then, let's keep going.
Oh, no, tell a lie. We're on page 11.
Oh,
And this is the last thing.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah. Is that it? He says at the almost 90-minute mark. NBC. So we got one thing at NBC at the end here. And this is funny because we mentioned Bellevue when we talked about the Grill and the Bird show. This show is called Bellevue. It is another long medical drama. It is Bruce.
Don't bother.
It is produced by Dr. Eric Mannheimer, MD, the former medical director of New York City's Bellevue Hospital, and the author.
That's a good name.
It does, Mannheimer. It's a great name.
Dr. Mannheimer. That's a Bond villain right there.
He is the author of the memoir 12 Patients, Life and Death at Bellevue Hospital, whose true story is what the series is based on. Only one hospital in the world has the capability to treat Ebola patients, prisoners from Rikers, and the President of the US all under one roof, Bellevue. The drama will follow the new enigmatic medical director hired to disrupt and tame the mighty Manhattan institution, all while facing... And here's the thing. See your head peeked up there. You think I'm going to say all while facing his professional and personal life or something to that effect.
That, yeah.
All while facing his own battle with cancer. Swerve.
Yeah, that's another staple of medical shows, though, isn't it?
Sure, but at least when I was reading that, I was expecting some bullshit about his personal life. And sure, him having cancer is part of his personal life, but this is a lot more specific and interesting.
It is more specific, so I'll give him that. But I'm still not going to watch this.
Oh, that's fair, yeah, I don't want to watch it either. But there you go. So that was a lot of shows. We had 11 pages of news this week.
Yeah.
The normal is 6 or 7, for the record, just if you're curious. And if there's less than that, then it's a quiet week. If it's more than that, then it's big. But there you go. So that finally brings us on to picking our favourite episode of TV of the week.
Just before we get onto that.
Oh, sorry, yes, you had something I forgot to bring, because you're the one who found this week.
I did. I stumbled across it, and I'm a little concerned.
This should have been in the opening section with all the quick stuff, but
it should have been, but I forgot until we were like 3 TV shows in. I was like, I'll save it to the end.
Yeah, that's fine. So what did you find this week? You found a little sneaky thing.
Yes. We have been concerned, as you will all know, about Netflix surprise dropping something on, especially Friday the 13th, is the date we're specifically worried about. It
started with Black Mirror being concerned, and then it shifted to Punisher, because they've been kind of coy about when that's dropping.
Yeah. And this week there was a little article in Total Film, and at the bottom it just says The Punisher will be on Netflix from 13th of October.
Yeah, it feels like a leak. No, they could just be wrong. It could just be, incorrect. It could be that simple.
But if it depends where this comes from. Total Film is reputable enough that I go, it could be accurate. Hey. I'm a little concerned.
Hey, October's going to be busy.
Also, the other thing that concerns me, not necessarily to do with Punisher, but I've noticed Netflix are pimping out Black Mirror again when I go on it. They're pushing that to the top of queues, things you should check out, and all the sections. Black Mirror's popping up at the top of those lines.
October's looking to be a mighty hectic month for us. Between all the TV, all the Netflix shows that, we have at least 2 confirmed, there's 3 confirmed Netflix shows already, never mind what else they add on to it. But on top of that, I'm doing all these extra horror movies for Screams, so it's going to be an interesting month in that sense. Hey, it'll be a challenge. We'll come out the other end as different people. Broken people, hopefully. Perhaps. Shallow imitations of our past selves, maybe.
Yeah.
But we'll come out on the other end. It'll be fine. It'll happen. All right. So, does that take us on to our favourite episode of TV of the week?
I'm trying. I was really annoying. I'm sure I had something else, but it's gone. So I suppose it does.
Well, maybe if you started writing things down, like a
maybe
responsible individual.
The problem is, I think of these things at work, and I'll be like, "Oh, I'll remember that," and then I won't.
But to be fair, we had quite a lot of news, so I feel like we were pretty comprehensive.
Yeah,
this week.
We did all right.
So, best episode of TV of the week. So, what do we have to pick from? We have The Deuce. We have Star Trek's first sort of double episode. We have Channel Zero
and Electric Dreams.
And we have Electric Dreams to pick from. So that is the options, really.
It's a pretty solid week.
It's an okay week.
I don't think there's anything to me immediately that goes, "Oh, that's the one that stands out above everything else."
I kind of agree. Um, it's tough. I'd love to give it to Star Trek, but I think Star Trek just had a few things too many that were a little bit wrong with
That's it. I'm like, okay, there's a few too many flaws, but at the same time, like, I did enjoy it. And
yeah, I don't think
it did look amazing.
Yeah, it was the best looking thing this week. I will absolutely give it that. But I think I have to go with the Deuce. I think the Deuce, in terms of in pure writing, it was just, you couldn't fault it.
Yeah, no, I think I'm gonna have to agree. Which is, Channel Zero was very good as well. That was a great episode.
Channel Zero was solid. Electric Dreams was better than the first episode, I'd say, but still not up to if we're comparing to Black Mirror, it still isn't at Black Mirror level.
No, I don't think it's ever going to be, but I don't think, and that's okay.
That's okay. It can be the B show. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm looking forward to more, but I don't think it's quite at the level of some of the other stuff that we discuss.
But yeah, so the Deuce. We'll both pick the Deuce. There you go. So yeah, as we said, we've got a lot of things coming up in the next week. We have the start of The Exorcist, which that'll be sometime Saturday night. We'll have to review that because that's tonight. That's
I've been lots of promotional material going around, and I'd not looked into it at all since we finished last season. And I didn't realise some of the changes that have occurred for this season coming up.
Yeah, I think it's just the main two priests that are back, and then...
Yeah, the family, I think, for the most part, have been dropped entirely.
Which is a shame, because I like some of those characters, but at least if they want to have a kind of sort of soft reboot, I get it.
No, I get it, because mostly that story was kind of done, and we were wondering where they go with that. So following the priest does make sense.
Yeah. Oh, I wonder if... I forget his name now, it's been a year, but the badass one who turned out to
be... Father Marcus.
No, not Marcus. Marcus.
Not Marcus?
That's one of the main two. I'm talking about the other guy.
The third one.
The one that looks like Clive from iZombie.
Yeah, no, I know what about now.
He turned out to be a complete badass. He was like stabbing like possessed people and everything.
Yeah, I do know who you're on about now. Oh shit, yeah, I hope he's still there.
Yeah, I hope he's still popping up. But yeah, so we've got that. Obviously, we have Inhumans Double, which we'll get to on Sunday night. That'll go up.
I suppose we have to.
We have The Gifted. That'll airs on Tuesday. Monday night we'll have the review up sometime on Tuesday. And then of course everything else we've been working through every week. So look forward to that stuff. Please be excited, to quote one of my favourite moments from a video games press conference.
That's one of your favourite moments.
Yeah, because they trolled all the Final Fantasy fans with a Final Fantasy VII remake, and then just showed the original game. Now, they got their happy ending, because the following E3 they got the actual remake, and they're all happy, but it was really funny in that moment just to see everyone in the room just kind of deflate.
It was, because everyone thought, oh, it's going to be it. It's going to be it. And it wasn't it. It was great.
Oh, dear.
We're dicks, aren't we?
We kind of are. I got the original, I got the remaster of the first one, and I've enjoyed playing what I have of it so far. It's a fine little game. I'm actually more excited about going back and finishing that and playing like 8 and 9 than I am the remake, because the new combat doesn't appeal to me as much, but
that's fair.
Maybe I'll try it at some point. Not that I've tried 15, because just reasons.
Yeah.
I got too much TV and movies to watch, and
who's got time for Final Fantasy?
I know, they're like 60, 70 hour games if you want to go through them properly. I will say we have something, it's not specifically TV related, but we do have some new goodies coming to Patreon at the start of October. I'm just going to tease that just now. But I will say that the things that are coming to Patreon, there's some free samples of to begin with in October, so everyone can test and try them out. So, I'll let that sit. You can let your minds ponder. But yeah,
could it be?
What could it be indeed? Of course, it's Connor watching more Scott Buck TV shows in a room, Clockwork Orange style. He's just sitting there and he's just watching.
So it's not even me watching them Arrow drunk style.
No, you're just sitting there watching them, completely sober.
That would be a high price.
So yeah, coming to Patreon next month for $10,000 a month. Connor watches Scott Buck episodes. Hey, you don't have to do that, because this Sunday you're getting a double Scott Buck episode for free. You're getting Inhumans. exciting. So speaking of
I
Patreon,
could do it being drunk for Inhumans.
Nah, we're not doing that. So speaking of Patreon, though, you can support the channel by going over to patreon.com/MailerFuzzTV. Let us know what you thought of the comments. Let us know what you thought of all the news this week in the comments below, is what I meant to say.
To be fair, there might be other interesting comments that you want to let us know that was a really good comment.
Sure. You can like and subscribe, all that stuff. That helps us out as well. But otherwise, that is us. That's been one of the longer episodes of news in a while. So hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you very much. I did get at least one Buffy joke in.
I had to make up for missing the last one.
I did. We talked about Eliza Dushku last week, and or maybe it was 2 weeks ago, and I never made the joke, and I'm eternally hurt by it. So
I like the idea that you're still mad at yourself about that.
I'm mad. I mean, I'd be okay like, if we talked about Clea Duvall and I didn't mention Buffy because she was in one episode. I'd live with it because okay, it's not an obvious connection.
I feel like you're really trying to force in an extra mention now, here, this whole thing just to make up for it.
Not at all. Clea Duvall was in the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, God.
She was the Invisible Girl in the Invisible Girl episode. Out of Mind, Out of Sight.
Don't make me stab you.
That's been all, folks. We'll see you next time. Keep watching TV. Have you got any vanilla?